John Kite, Johnny Brooks. I thought that yesterday's 9:15 huddle up call, our what we call our DCT, our daily card table. And just a reminder to you guys, so on Mondays and Wednesdays, we do get together a little bit earlier. It's 9:15 a.m. It's just a 45 minute call that's designed for us to kind of meet you where you are. As I'll get into a little bit later today, most most people they're not ready skill set wise nor financially ready to launch into virtual sales. Not the way that the leaders of the daily roundtable, not the way they're teaching, which again I'm going to get into that a little bit today, so just hang on. So on Mondays and Wednesdays 9:15 we get together. And again, we want to meet you guys where you are. There's a lot of y'all that are brand new. And so we want to bring information at 9:15 that really helps you in your getting started process. Because for those of you guys who do want to be successful in virtual life insurance sales, we want to help you. We want to help you get there, and we want to help you get there quick. Okay. So then the daily roundtable. Okay. We love the DRT. Okay. It is Equus's mandated call. Mandate is probably not the right word, but to me, it's mandated. I mean, Barry Clarkson puts his stamp of approval on it, says that we should be plugging in every day. And so therefore, we as a team, we plug in every single day, except Thursday, every single day to the daily roundtable. Now, every day tends to have a rhythm to it. So hopefully you guys, you're plugging in and hopefully you're developing that rhythm of Mondays, Tuesdays, winning most of the time, winning with women on Wednesdays. I love this, probably my favorite call. And then Thursdays, we take a break from the DRT. We do our own team call, which we're doing right now at 10 o'clock. And then obviously Friday mornings, we have a leaders only call at 9:15. Those of you guys that are leaders know about that call. And then we all plug in for our Super Bowl. Okay. And this, I'm using talk that I guess is pretty relevant for those of you guys who still have teams in the playoffs. But our Super Bowl is Fridays at 10 o'clock. Okay. When I started with Equus Financial, our Super Bowl was Fridays at 1 o'clock because Barry did his leadership call at 1 o'clock on Fridays. And it was our thermostat. It set the tone of our businesses. And I loved it. I plugged in every Friday at 1 o'clock. I had my note taken. As a matter of fact, most of the time, this is just kind of funny, but most of the time, Fridays, I would not be in the field. Hopefully by Thursday afternoons, I had hit my weekly personal production goals. And so Fridays, I usually went out and hit some golf balls. And so I actually just found several because I would take my notes on the scorecard on the golf cart. And so I found some of those Friday 1 o'clock notes. And but anyway, it was Fridays at 1 o'clock that set the tone for me. And then I would go into, I would start making my personal dials. Later in my personal sales career, I would start on Friday afternoons. Okay. Before that, I only dialed Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings was my dial time. But as I went along, I did start to appreciate dialing on late Friday afternoons. I do think that people's mindset, they tended to be happy. They tended to answer the phone. And so I was basically, so my attitude of my phone script on Friday afternoons was introducing myself as their field underwriter. Sorry for the ring late Friday afternoon, but just wanted to let them know that I got their form on my desk and I was the one that was going to be handling that form, and that they could that I promised them that they would see me on Monday and Tuesday as I would be as my company would have me back out into their area. And so set a lot of appointments on Friday afternoons because, and again, I attribute it to a lot of people's emotional high. They're, Friday afternoons, getting off work, having some fun, things like that. But Saturday mornings, Saturday mornings was my sacred dial time. And I'm just telling you, that's where I look back and feel like I made a lot of money. Um, so anyway, not sure how I got into dials versus this, but this is going to be my sales talk part two. I think a lot of you guys plugged in last Thursday. I did get a ton of feedback. I don't do a lot of, talking about my personal sales. I don't do that a lot, but based on the comments from you guys last Thursday, I think I'm going to try to do it a little bit more. So last Thursday, we did talk about specifics in setting appointments, tonality. We talked about the importance of creating value. When you whether you're walking into a virtual appointment or face-to-face appointment, most people see you as an expense. And so through our income, assets, existing life insurance, through our conversation with these people, prior to that, through our rapport building, we talked a lot about rapport building last Thursday, but we start to build our value. And our goal is to build value to the point where the cost of the life insurance policy, it's not even a factor. So when we start our conversations with people, most of the people see us again as an expense. And so what our job is we have to flip flop that, and we have to create massive value to the client. And again, we do that. I did it through income, through having the conversation of their income, assets, existing life insurance. Having that conversation about those three things typically highlighted their big need. Okay. And again, my goal in conversation was to highlight their need in the way that they saw it. Okay, I always saw it, but it really doesn't matter if I see it. They're the ones that have to see it, and so that therein lies the power in asking the right questions and getting your clients talking. If you're the only one talking on your appointments, you're probably not a very good producer. So as I launch in today, I want to just do a reminder, and it needs to be more than just a reminder. As this, what I'm getting ready to talk about, this to me is the essence of whether you're really good or whether you're not really good. Okay, you've got to dive in and practice. You've got to learn people skills. Learning people skills is all about just simply learning and understanding human nature. If you don't understand human nature, if you don't understand why people do the things they do, if you don't understand those typical types of things, then you'll never overcome your human nature in order for you to be that superior. And when I say a superior, that's not the right terminology, but superior in relationships, as in at some point in time, the person that is well thought of, the person that is most respected, the person that is thought of to be a great conversationalist, the person that is thought of to be a great leader. Most of the time, and I say most, golly, I can't think of any time that they've not been, but they're typically the ones that understand human nature, and they learn to work with human nature. Okay. The prayer of King Solomon, the richest man who ever lived. If you guys think Bill Gates or Warren Buffett have anything substantial, you should read a little bit about King Solomon and what he had. But you look at his prayer, and he didn't pray for riches. He prayed just simply for the ability to deal with God's people, and God loved that so much that he blessed them unbelievably. So practice. So write this down. People skills. Okay. People skills is simply an understanding of human nature, and it's you working. You got to be intentional on this. Okay. If you're not intentional on this, I promise you're not going to get better at this. And this is the essence of what gets you better. Okay. People skills is understanding human nature. Okay. One of the basic premises of this is people are 10,000 times more interested in themselves than they are in you. Okay, that's fact. People are 10,000 times more interested in themselves than they are in you. And so when you learn how to have conversations with people where you keep the focus on them, what do typically people do? People always take the conversation off of the other people and they turn it back to them. Okay. They say I, me, my, mine, and they turn the conversation because human nature, you love talking about you. You love talking about your accomplishments. You love, see what I'm saying? And so overcome that and learn how to talk to people about themselves, learn how to be genuinely interested in what people say, learn how to be genuinely interested in how other people feel, and you will be well on your way to great success, really in any endeavor, but most definitely the life insurance industry. Learn how to let people talk about themselves, be genuinely interested in what they say. These are just some notes that I took down on the plane the other night. Everyone acts based on their own self-interest. Okay, you understand that human nature? Everybody acts on their own self-interest. Everyone wants to know what's in it for me. What's in it for me? Get people talking about themselves. Whoop. Sorry, I've got this makeshift thing set up here in this hotel room. Get people talking about themselves, and they will think you're a great conversationalist. You will be a great conversationalist, and they will love talking to you. They will like you. They think you're smart by listening to them. Everyone walks around. This is Barry Clarkson 101. Okay, everyone walks around with a red blinking light on their forehead that says what? You guys, y'all studied Barry Clarkson. What does he say? Everybody walks around. Everybody. Your wife, your husband, your kids, your neighbors, the people you're going to talk to today, everybody walks around, even the rude ass people that you're going to talk to on the phone, everybody walks around with a red blinking light that says, make me feel important. So when you learn how to make people feel important, that's huge. Now, let me tell you, if you don't feed yourself, if you don't feed yourself, and if you don't create self-appreciation, if you don't create self-love, you can't give away to somebody what you don't have. So those of you guys, you're not reading every day, you're not speaking your goals, you're not developing disciplines around growing yourself. Let me just promise you something. Right there creates your capacity of execution. Okay, it just is. Now I've never really said it that way, but there's no truer words that'll be spoken in your lifetime than what I just said. So your capacity to execute is going to be based on how your capacity to make other people feel important, and you can't give to other people what you don't have. So you better figure out what makes you feel good about you. Do you love working out? Then you need to work out. Working out makes you feel good about you. It makes you feel accomplished. Reading is visually guided thinking. Nothing changes our thoughts. Nothing changes our thoughts, which govern our whole body, our whole life, our whole attraction factor is the way we think. It's the way we think about ourselves. It's the way humility is simply thinking about yourself in a way that you are continually in the presence of God, that you are the creature, He is the creator, and you're in communion. Like as long as you have that view of who you are, man, there's nothing but humility that can grow out of it. It's only when we start seeing ourselves and thinking of ourselves as what we're not, that's when pride tends to grow. But that's a whole different topic. So everybody walks around with that red blinking light that says, make me feel important today. Write this down. Go out today and be intentional on every conversation you have. See if you can let the other person talk more about themselves than you do about you. Learn how to make people feel important. Okay. Listen to people, pause, genuinely listen to people, learn how to pause before responding, be agreeable, never disagree. The art of dealing with people often comes down to not caving into your desire to be right. Do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? Again, I wrote these notes down on the airplane the other day. This is just my knowledge of reading Les Giblin, how to have confidence and power in dealing with people. Also, the book Skill with People. So to me, the art of dealing with people often comes down to not caving into your desire to be right, because when we want to be right, a lot of times if for us to be right, we've got to make other people wrong. And I'm just telling you, you may feel like you successfully do that, but you never win friends and influence people in doing that. Never argue. It's the lowest form of communication. Even if you're right, nobody wins an argument. So people, this is a saying that I used to hear, and I'm not sure who actually said it or whatever, but it says, people convinced against their will are of the same opinion still. Y'all ever heard that? People convinced against their will are of the same opinion still. Never argue, never fight. The very moment you're sucked into either, whether you're right or not, you lose. The very moment you're sucked into an argument or a fight, whether you're right or not, you lose. Okay? Be quick to admit your mistakes, admit when you're wrong. Average and mediocre people, they don't have the self-confidence or the self-image to admit they can't be wrong. Their thought process, as small and mediocre as it is, won't allow themselves to admit they're wrong. Realize this, it's always the bigger person that is able to admit when they make a mistake and admit when they have been wrong. Average and mediocre people never admit when they're wrong. Human nature says that people make quick judgments about you within just a few seconds of meeting you. So it's very important that you learn how to smile. Let your overall demeanor be a smile. I'm not sure factually about this, but I remember reading in a book that it takes a lot less, like when we smile, it takes a lot less muscles than frowning. And so if you genuinely learn how to smile, and maybe you go off today as you learn to make people feel important today, maybe go off today and just learn how to smile. They say that even if you're talking to somebody on a phone conversation, if you simply smile, people can feel that. It's just they can feel that. Also, in one of my favorite books ever, which is The Greatest Miracle in the World, Og Mandino talks about, he teaches one of the secrets that he's ever learned of dealing with people. And he says, whenever you meet somebody, whenever you either meet somebody for the first time, or whenever you see somebody, like we're getting ready to be in the Greenbrier in a few days, and we're going to be seeing people. And so challenge yourself when you shake hands with somebody and you're seeing somebody that you haven't seen in a while. Just learn how to look people in the eye, make eye contact, and deep inside of you, not out loud, because that would be kind of weird, but deep, not to people that you really know, but learn how to say deep inside when you make eye contact with people that you love them. People say that the radiation, the radiant joy that comes from inside of you, it comes from your eyes. And they talk about people that are masters at that. They talk about they just radiate with joy, and that there's an attraction factor that people just want to be around people that learn how to really put other people ahead of themselves and really elevate. The essence of one of my other favorite books, Balcony People by Joyce Heatherly, talks about just the ability when you get around people to lift them up. Okay, do you have the ability to lift them up? So develop a genuine smile, a smile that lights up your eyes. Tell people you love them when you smile at them. Smile and be kind always. Let that be a rule. Smile and be kind always. That's going into my positive affirmations. I just need to recommit to disciplines that I know. And smile and be kind always. A merry heart does good like a medicine. I'm not sure what proverb that is, but it's in Proverbs. Value and love yourself. Live. Well, I wrote down live in the presence of God. It's not. I'm not going to dive into that too much today, but it's the creature in the hands of the Creator. I don't think that would offend anybody. But enthusiasm. One of my other favorite books is How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success Through Selling by Frank Betchker. And those of you guys that have read that book, you guys know that's the proper pronunciation of his last name. but Frank was a baseball player that was going up through the double A ranks. And thank you, Alvin Shepard. And but anyway, he made a decision when he was getting out of baseball and getting into life insurance. He just made a decision based on something that a coach had corrected him on. Because the coach basically said, "Hey man, you just don't look like you're having fun. You don't look like you're excited about anything." And it really made him interrogate his reality. Like, wow, like I kind of am, but like I guess I'm not showing it. So he decided that day and time to do something that totally changed his life and made him one of the most successful people who ever lived. And that is, he made the decision to act enthusiastic. He made the decision to walk a little bit faster, talk a little bit faster. But anyway, the decision to act enthusiastic. Love that book. Never talk about other people in a way that puts them down. Guys, that is the surefire way of just absolutely just putting yourself in the bottom of the barrel. You can't say gossip without a hiss to it. Okay, gossip has a hiss to it. Stay away from that. Be bigger than that. The key to establishing good relationships and connecting with people is to be genuinely interested in them and what they want to accomplish. What they want to accomplish. Talk about things that other people are interested in, and talk about that. Sports teams, weather. Guys, I remember making my dials and setting appointments, and I would look at the prefixes of the people I were calling. Yeah, they may have moved down to Brunswick County, North Carolina, but I looked at their prefixes. Maybe I remember the first couple I ever wrote, they were from Massachusetts. And I remember when I called and booked that appointment with him, I remember getting him on the phone. And we probably, I don't want to embellish this, but we probably talked 3 or 4 minutes about the Boston Red Sox. And so I would always look at people's phone prefixes and ask them about that. Like, how did you end up with a Minnesota phone? Like, are you from there? Do you live there now? Are you moving down? Or you whatever? And so, but it's just, that's a simple way of talking to people about what interests them. It's talking to people about their life, right? And learn how to keep the conversation on them. See how much you can get them talking. And they'll fall in love with you in just a few minutes. They'll look forward to their appointment with you because, wow, this person is really smart, because they think I'm really smart. They love listening to me, and I'm my favorite speaker. And so if you want to listen to me, you must be really wise and smart. So I think, you see what I'm saying, guys? It's just, I love that interaction and what takes place. And especially the power that people have who just simply give up their desire to talk about themselves and really become genuinely, not genuine, but genuinely interested in other people. Guys, if you will learn to become genuinely interested in other people, if you will learn how to put yourself in their shoes, walk a mile in their shoes, learn a little bit about why they want what they want, I will tell you what, you will become great. And you can't really fake that. That's something that's got to be developed in you. And you can develop that. What will impress the majority of people? Your accomplishments or theirs. Accept people as they are and like them. Okay, this is so important. Okay, we as leaders, I challenge myself to see people and treat people as though they could be, but we do have to accept people the way they are. We have to like them. We have to find reason to edify them where they're. There's something edifiable about everybody. I don't care how crummy they are. I don't care but I mean, there's something edifiable. And so finding the good that's in that person and recognizing for that, seeing that, a lot of times it makes people desire to become better in other areas of their life because they want to be recognized for that as well. People just want to be recognized. People grow under praise. They tend to resent criticism. Now listen, I always appreciated correction, but correction is not criticism. Learn the difference in the two. But I always loved, and still to this day, love the coaches who took the time to correct me without necessarily criticizing me. Okay. Correction makes people know that you think they can be better, and you're basically highlighting how you can be. And I'll tell you, winners love that. Okay. Criticism has a little bit more negative tone to it. Criticism just tends to judge, and it leaves it at that. And people that are judged, they feel that. And you just don't want to sow the seed of being judgmental, because a lot of times what you see in other people to judge is really what's most evident in you. A lot of times when people get around you and they're talking bad about other people, guys, they're telling you a lot about themselves. Just know this: people that have really good self-images, people that are going somewhere in their life, very rarely will you, unless they're really narcissistic, you very rarely will you ever hear them really speak negative, like really speaking negative about somebody else. It's just something they've learned to overcome in themselves. Okay. At the worst of us, we all enjoy talking bad about other people, because at the worst of us, it does make us feel a little bit better about how bad we are. But then people that grow in their life, they see the they see the fallacy in that. Lack of appreciation is the beginning of the end. Lack of appreciation is the beginning of the end in anything. The very moment you start to not appreciate the people around you, the very moment you start not to appreciate your upline for bringing you into this business, the very moment you stop appreciating your spouse, the very moment you stop appreciating the company that you're with, the very moment that appreciation goes down, that is the beginning of the end of all of those things. Treat people as special. Treat people, even the people that are less, like I always love watching how Barry interacts with waiters and waitresses, but learn how to treat people as VIPs. I can honestly say this about Barry Clarkson, and just in my hanging out with him, eating a lot of meals, he always makes the waiter or waitress feel just as special as I've ever seen him treat Brian Adams. Okay. All right. Everyone wants to be recognized for their uniqueness. In influencing people, it's what they want that matters. And this is the last one, and I'm done before I go to the next thing. Walk in other people's shoes for a bit. Want for them what they want. See things from their point of view, and that should challenge you a little bit to do that. Okay. I've got a few minutes here. I'm going to probably end a little bit early today, just because I want to get you off a little bit early. But this is important stuff. Okay. These are some notes that I also took down in my traveling this week. That I just really feel like it's kind of like, it's really good for our team to hear right now. Okay. You may not want to take notes on this. You may just want to listen, because this is more of my heart to you. Okay. Number one, ain't no miracles. Now, I'm not saying there's not miracles in the world and great things like that they happen all the time. I'm just saying in business, there tends to not be miracles. In business, there's no mystery behind success. Okay. Success is not winning the lottery. Okay? Success is a planned event. Success is you, through your desire and through your self-discipline of thought and action. It is you being intentional. Success is an intentional, action-based plan that gets you from point A to point B. Okay? So ain't no miracles and ain't no mystery. I used to do that talk in a way that I used to tell people that, you know what? Loch Ness Monster is a mystery. Bigfoot is a mystery. How I put two, even to this day, I did it actually before I left to get on a plane this week. I put 2 socks in a dryer. I know I put 2 socks in a dryer and I got one out. Okay, that's a mystery. So those things, as they are mysteries, there is no mystery to success in business. Okay, there are common denominators of all success in business, whether you're looking to develop a team, an agency, or whether you're looking to be a top personal producer. Let's not ignore them. Okay, and I'm going to get back to that here as I close today. Change is a desire thing. Personal change, you learning to change, you learning how to override your programming, reprogram, renew, that's a desire thing. And that's the one thing. It's the one thing that most people aren't willing to do. It's the one thing that keeps people from the big success of their life is they don't ever dive in and get fanatical about their association. Therefore, why do we say so? Do you think it's just because we want you on a call? Do you think it's just because we want you on a DRT? Why do we say, why have I said to my leaders so much, be in Greenbrier, bring Green, go sell you a couple dadgum applications and get to Greenbrier, okay? Why is it? Because personal change, that is your execution to the next level. And so it's a desire thing. Let me promise you this, and you might want to remember this or write this down, but adversity is attracted to desire. Adversity is attracted by the person that has a dream. The person that has a dream and they desire something better in life, adversity is going to come. Why? Because adversity is the very thing that comes to it. It comes because you've attracted it, and it helps you once you overcome it. Remember this, guys, leadership, the essence of everybody wants to be a leader. Boy Scouts, they want to be Eagle Scout, they want to be leader. What is leader? What is leader? What is the essence of leadership? See, before you say you want to be a leader of anything, you've got to learn this truth. The essence of leadership is dealing with conflict. You want to be a leader? You got to learn how to, your companies pay a lot of money for people that develop their leadership. Corporations pay a lot of money for people that learn how to deal effectively with conflict. In 1099, we have to learn how to effectively deal with the adversity that we attract in our lives, because the adversity that we attract in our lives always comes for a specific reason, okay? And so a common denominator of everybody that's overcoming to become is they have adversity that's attracted in their life, most of the time because of a faulty way of thinking, and it provides you the opportunity to deal with that. So learn how to take joy in trials and adversity, because that is the essence of you overcoming to become. The arc of life. Are you over 35? The bell curve tends to be, I'd say it's a little bit younger nowadays, probably 19, 20 up to maybe 30, 32, maybe 35. So that's the sweet bell curve where people can easily or more easily make changes, because they still think in their mind they're young enough, and it ain't no old dog new tricks. Can't teach an old dog new trick. Well, can't teach a dead dog nothing. But are you over 35? Good. You've got a tougher road to hoe. And if you don't understand what I'm saying today about personal change, because here's the thing, the danger in what I'm saying is that whenever adversity comes, either we overcome to become, or we fall back to our most powerful, and it's most powerful because it's been with us the longest, our most powerful code or programming. We fall back on it. Older people have a tougher time in changing. It just is the way it is. And so I'm not thinking that I'm not speaking that you've got a tougher road, but I am saying this. If you are over 35 and you want to change your financial future, you have no choice but to absolutely rewire everything about your life, everything about your communication. How do you speak? What do you allow to come out of your mouth? How are you affecting your thoughts? Are you reading? Probably need to be reading more than 15 minutes a day. Probably need to be speaking your goals more than just a couple of times a day. Who do you allow to coach you? Does your coach really matter? Does your mentor really matter? Boy, I tell you what, that's something I really would love, because you know what, if there's one thing that I see, and if I could grade myself and give myself an A where I see a lot of people falling short, I'm just going to tell you what, guys. Barry Clarkson was and is my mentor. I want to live like he lives. I love the way he lives. I love the way he lives his life. I love his faith. I love his relationship with Pam. I love his relationship with Nathan and his daughter-in-law and his grandkids. I love how he operates in business. And so therefore, I know who he is. I know the fruit that he has on the tree. And I desire that. And so I position myself around him, and I am the student, not the teacher. I value the way he thinks. Success is a lone wolf endeavor. Just going to say it. Success is a lone wolf endeavor. Typically, people that are more pack runners, they never make it to the higher levels. They're always way too worried about what other people are doing, what other people are thinking. I'm just telling you, success at the higher levels, okay? Success at the higher levels tend to be more of a lone wolf endeavor. Effective mentor coach, you gotta really want to know what they know. Stop falling victim to all of the internet gurus, and limit your time to and I'm not saying there's not some good thoughts and stuff on there, but at some point in time, I think if you really want to win, you really have to develop a relationship with somebody that you can be accountable to and that matters. And I can sit here and list about seven or eight names of these internet gurus that I even like to listen to some of their stuff. But guess what? They don't know John Kite. They don't care about John Kite, and I'm not accountable to it, nor will I ever be accountable to him. Very little black and white in the world. As a matter of fact, I want to tend to say there's no black and white, but there are a lot of shades of gray. That's a leadership thought process, something that maybe around a table at some point in time, maybe for those of you guys that are coming to Greenbrier, that's a leadership topic that I'd love to dive into on why there's no black or white. There's only shades of gray. Success is an art. It's never a science. And what I find is people that don't subscribe to that thought process, or people that want to maybe say that it's not true, they're always trying to put everything in a box, label it science, cause and effect. And I just, as I look at the fruit that their life produces, I don't like it at all. It's usually very rigid, and they tend to be more judgmental. Tremendously high self-belief drives most success stories. Tremendously high self-belief. You can also say there that tremendously high desire, Think and Grow Rich, Master Key to Riches, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, talk about burning desire backed by singleness of purpose is what creates success. But I also believe that as Master Key to Riches talks about creating a success consciousness, I also believe that it's a tremendously high self-belief that drives most success stories. It's very easy to cross the line. It's one of those things in business that we all have to be conscious of, because it's very easy to cross the line from big self-belief to narcissism. Narcissism is never good, but an ego does play a major part of achievement. Never think that it doesn't. Ego plays a huge part. Either you are looking at the leaderboard and it absolutely drives you nuts to be beat by people that you know they're not as good as you. Now, is that the most humble thing in the world to say? No, but I'm gonna tell you what: if you ain't got some ego about you, I mean, ego does play a major part of achievement. It does. But it's one of those things where as you develop your inner circle, you always want to talk a lot to your inner circle about this because it's very easy for our ego to cross the line because recognition does feel good. And at some point in time, as much as it feels good to be recognized, you got to get away from that. You got to get away from that. You got to kind of shun that because recognition can create narcissistic tendencies. That's why you look at a lot of these rock star stage IMOs and I say Bet Davis now, but I mean you look at a lot of those guys and they've always got to be the ones talking. They've always got to be the ones in the camera and things like that. And listen, there's a certain part of, yes, people need to hear from them, and yes, they need to be in front of the camera because can't nobody move their organization like they can. But it's really easy to cross the line. Okay. And listen, I love Patrick Bet-David. He's a partner of mine at Integrity Marketing Group. Not saying that he's narcissistic at all. I'm just saying that when you think about people that are high profile, right? You do have to. I'm just saying, in you personally, set up guardrails in your life. Okay, for those of us that have prudent spouses, okay, that's probably going to be your best friend to guard against becoming narcissistic. Okay, but ego, and big self belief, they play a huge part in that. Success is a thinking man's game. Success is all about being intentional. We talked about that a while ago. How powerful are you? Now, this is, I want to slow down a second, even though I don't really have time to slow down, but how powerful are you? You have a state life insurance license. Okay. You are licensed by your home state to represent the top rated life insurance carriers in the world. You represent the top solutions to a lot of the problems that middle income America faces. I see a lot of y'all, you're being limited by your thought on leads. You all of a sudden think leads are the only way to sell. You all of a sudden think that you're limited to how much you can afford in leads or whatever. And I'm just telling you, maybe we'll dive more into this next week. But I want you to know, if you're going to be on this team, you got to know how powerful you are. You have a state life insurance license. You are appointed by some of the top carriers. It is time that you wake up to your value, to your community, and you got to go, go, go. Compare the product lines that you have today, and I'm just going to call them out just because I freaking hate them. But the Primericas of the world, the Senior Life Services, the Lincoln Heritages of the world, Globe Life. I sit there watching commercials. You guys know that I try to get one episode of Andy Griffith a day. Think it's the best show on TV. But I sit there and listen to those commercials. Guaranteed acceptance, can't be denied. Well, the people don't know that there's healthy people that are applying for that. And they're getting these coverages that have a 2-year wait. They're higher cost. You're the answer. You're the freaking answer to people having the very best life insurance. You don't have a mindset of selling life insurance. Have a mindset to go out there and look for people that have already bought life insurance. You've already bought life insurance. Fantastic. You're my number one client. I can help you. Please let me look at the cover. Please let me take 5 minutes and look at the coverage you have. And let me make sure that it's the very best coverage that you can apply for, okay? Some people won't take you up on it, but some people will. One of the best ways you can serve middle-income America is not by selling stupid people life insurance. It's not by selling people that don't think they're going to die. A lot of the best ways you can serve middle-income America is to go find people that already own one of these policies. Do y'all realize? I realize the percentage of people in America that don't have life insurance. It's horrendous. But if you look at something even more horrendous to us, should be the amount of people that have life insurance, but it's not what they think it is, and it's not the very best life insurance they can qualify for. Did you know that you can actually create a return of premium type policy for people without making them pay 2 times the premium? You guys have heard me talk about creating return of premium policies, which, to say another way, term with cash value via the universal life product with GPM, combining the universal life product, which has 2 chassis it runs on, which is incredible because you can get people that aren't the most healthy in the world, usually in their standard express versus their more healthy standard plus rating. But when you combine a term rider to that, you now have a term policy that's building cash value. It's huge. Did you know that you have living benefits? And all of those companies that I just mentioned a while ago, they're selling life insurance without living benefits. Did you know that you can create people? Did you know you can create people to have tax advantages? Did you know that you can create products that will create cash value along with protection? You know, so people are planning on living. I talked last week about when you're writing insurance or you're having an insurance conversation, you want to find out, hey, do you want to plan on living or do you want to plan on dying? That's going to determine what we write. Do you want to plan on living or do you want to plan on dying? People that bet on living, you still put the death benefit in place because who knows when our time's up, okay? But if we're right and we live, then our policies are going to create more and more value because of the cash value that our policy creates. Then, as we're later in life, we actually get to access the cash value, not with withdrawals, because withdrawals are taxed. Everything in America, the tax is triggered by gain, the gain that you create. But in life insurance, check this out, guys. In life insurance, we get to access our cash value via policy loans. And so we get to access our gain without paying taxes. And then when we pass away, our death benefit goes to paying back our policy loans. And then whatever is remaining on death benefit goes to our beneficiaries. So it's ways that we can create retirements that are not taxed. It's so powerful, okay? I'm going to end with this. Virtual sales success. I think in this country, I think that there's a lot of clients that want to do business virtually, and there's a lot of clients that don't. I think that there's an overwhelming majority of agents that want that they want to do virtual. They want to sit in their home, and they don't want to drive all over the world, which I totally get it. And they want to succeed at virtual sales. Okay. The challenge is that you cannot set up your virtual camera and all of a sudden the World Wide Web, social media, they're not just going to, we're going to put a client in front of you. Okay. So if you're going to be successful at virtual sales, number one, I would look at your skill level. Okay. Look at your background. Okay. Where you sit when you have on camera. And listen, I'm just not a huge fan of those people that create those fake backgrounds with like they're sitting on an airplane. Like, I mean, if you think people think you're sitting on it, like, I'm just saying what I love the most and what I feel the most comfortable are if you look at people that have professional backgrounds. Guys, if you're going to succeed in virtual sales here, I'm kind of running so long time, I've got to be really direct with you. Number one, you got to look at your wardrobe, how you dress. You got to invest in your background. You got to invest. Now I'm sitting in a hotel room, so it's horrible, but you got to invest in a light in a light, and you've got to learn like what's the correct dialing. Some of you guys, you look like you just walked off of Mount Sinai or something because it's just too bright. But you gotta learn how to get the camera up. You can't be talking to people like that. You can't like you. There's things that you've got to put in your favor. The powers of observation are open to everybody, and just stop being stupid in regards to that. Okay. There are other ways of succeeding, and that is when you look at virtual sales, you look at the majority of people that are succeeding in full-time virtual sales, they're investing, guys. And when I say at least $2,000 a week into A-leads, at least. I would say in virtual sales that tends to be a minority of it. So most are $2,500, $3,000 a week. Did y'all hear Matt Produce? Matt Produce it has come out in January. He is our top producer, bar none. And if you heard him yesterday talk about how he upped his lead investment, guys, it's virtual sales in lead-driven sales. It's all about working within close ratios. And so the only time frustration or failure, what you perceive as failure, is going to come in is when you invest a little bit, but your expectation of success is too much. When they don't match up, your investment versus your expectation, when they don't match up, you are apt to be frustrated, okay? You are not gonna, if you're investing $1,000 a week or $500 a week, but you expect to compete with people that are investing $3,000 a week, forget about it. Scientifically, it's just not gonna happen. Okay, virtual sales and lead-driven sales are not about sales ability so much as it's about numbers. Okay. There are other ways to succeed. If you're not in a position of investing $3,000 a week, hey, no worries. There are steps to get there. Okay. But you've got to learn how to take these inventory leads. Okay. Me and JK2 recently were talking about ethos leads. Listen, I love ethos leads just because I love the story that you tell. Okay. Every lead type, whether it's a life lead, a legacy lead, an ethos lead, a gold lead, no matter what lead type, it's a story that you start off with. It's a story. A lead is a name and number and a reason to call them, right? Okay, you guys know that from last week. Now let's dive more into it and let you know that a lead is a story. Okay, if I call an ethos lead, I'm letting them know, hey, so I got your name and your information. It looks like that you started a life insurance policy via our company Ethos, and but it was not completed, and so I'm here to help you complete that. Also, I want to let you know that I am a broker in our state, and I can shop out your coverage with some other carriers, and so it's a story that you tell. Okay, legacy lead, legacy safeguard lead. Okay, you indicated you had interest in setting up legacy safeguard and really putting things in order. I'm the one that helps you do that. A 2-year-old direct mail lead. Hey, Bob, can you help me out with something? My name is John Kite, and I'm calling you based on that form that you filled out. Gosh, it probably a couple of years ago, but it's on that mortgage that you took out with Wells Fargo on your property, which is 686 Oak Street. But your form came up on my desk because we show that it hasn't been taken care of, but we also are very skeptical that anybody even called you about this. Bob, do you mind helping me out a minute? Can you answer a few questions? Were you ever even called about this? You were? Okay, fantastic. Well, is there a reason you didn't take care of it? Oh, okay, a little too expensive. Okay, they quoted you $600. Okay, wow. That doesn't sound right at all. Well, I'll tell you what, Bob. So I'm the manager here. You mind if I'm just going to take care of this personally? What's the best time for us to meet? I can do it on the phone or either face to face. But yeah, $600. It's ridiculous. Nobody ever should have quoted you that. But let me just take care of this person. So y'all see that? It's a story. It's a story that you're telling. It's the reason you're calling somebody and saying hello. Got a few things, but guys, I'm at the end of my time. I'm gonna tell you what I do. I love my time with you. Absolutely love it. I love you. I want you to succeed. I want 2025 to be a massive year for you. I want 2025 to be a massive year for Cornerstone. A lot of prayers going into Cornerstone right now, and the thing about it is we're seeing those prayers answered. Some really, really good people are coming back to Cornerstone with a heart to really grow. And guys, we know where that comes from. Um, just excited about this team. I'm excited about the impact that we can make in our communities. I'm excited about the impact we can make across America as we take our eyes off of ourselves and really put it on our clients. Um, and as we really step up to the power that we have as state licensed life insurance agents appointed by the top carriers with the very best products that middle income America fights for the products that we have. We're not in network marketing. We don't sell vacuum cleaners. We don't sell water treatment systems. We don't sell vitamins. We've got life insurance with living benefits. Let's just learn how to act like that and move with a rhythm that creates and allows us to hit our weekly goals. Love you guys. God bless.